When it comes to the forecast, though, maybe a light rain jacket for some. We still have a few spotty showers out there, clear to the north. But if I zoom this down and start over the Sacramentos, we have some light rain showers lingering just to the east of Alamogordo. Cloudcroft likely waking up to some sprinkles. None of this is very heavy by any means, but I just wanted to show you, so if you see the dark clouds, see a few raindrops out in the windshield, this is why. We have a few of these showers just left over to the north and east of the Duke City. But when it comes to the overall setup, I expect stronger storms and more of them as we get into this afternoon. Here's the cloud cover that I'm talking about over Duke City. 70 degrees, some sprinkles out there, east-southeast winds at 6 miles per hour. When it comes to the temperatures across the state, we've got widespread 50s, 60s, and 70s. Feeling pretty good out there in Carlsbad and Roswell in the low 70s, 66 in Socorro, 53 up there in Durango. Later on today, it's the 80s. We're talking upper 80s at that here in the Duke City, likely to climb closer to 90. That's going to be my forecast high for today. But we will see increasing cloud cover this afternoon. When it comes to the highs across the state, I would say the majority of us are in the 80s and 90s. There's a couple of 70s mixed in there out near Ruidoso and Alamosa, but most of us are at to just above average for this time of year. Looking at the storm chances, southwest New Mexico and really the higher terrain of western New Mexico in general favored for storms, as well as the eastern plains. Some of these storms could be on the strong to severe side. I'm not expecting a widespread severe weather outbreak, but it's going to be something to watch for closer to that Texas-New Mexico state line. Just some isolated storm chances for today, and then drier air starts to punch in from the west tomorrow, and that's why most of the coverage here is east of the Central Mountains. Spot storms for western areas tomorrow. When it comes to the severity, they just have a general risk of storms for today, but tomorrow they have extended the marginal risk into portions of northeast and east central areas here, meaning there is an isolated severe weather risk as we get into your Tuesday afternoon. But the overall setup shows the best coverage happens today with the spotty storms off to the west and then a little bit more of the scattered coverage here east of the Central Mountains. Albuquerque, we're lucky if we see isolated storms today and tomorrow. I'm going to drop the rain out of the forecast. I think that drier air is going to start to punch in hard, and then that'll cut off our rain supply as we get into Wednesday. Some spotty storms over the mountains, and then that's about it. Wednesday, Thursday, and even into most of Friday, we look pretty quiet. Cold fronts starting to be indicated by some models over the weekend, but we'll hold off on the details there. Southern Colorado, looking at isolated spot mountain storms. Temperatures nothing to worry about. We've got 80s out there in Durango, Pagosa Springs, and Cortez. And when it comes to the overall trend here, upper 70s to low 80s here to stay. Northwest, partly cloudy, isolated storms, not going to be widespread by any means. Drier conditions come in through midweek. Southwest, Gila Mountains will help act as a trigger for some of these storms, so we'll keep in the rain chances today, maybe even tomorrow, depending on how much we get out this afternoon. High temps in the 80s and 90s. Southeast, 70s for the Sacramentos. We look to see the 90s out over the lower elevations, but with the storms firing over the mountains and then pushing east, surrounding lower elevations likely to get on some of those storms. Also, afternoon storms over the northeast, mostly partly sunny. Your temperatures in the 80s and 90s. More storms for the high country up north, and then those temperatures are in the 70s and 80s this afternoon and again tomorrow. East Mountains, partly sunny, some spotty to scattered storms. High temps in the 80s today and tomorrow. And the metro looking at a mostly to partly sunny afternoon. Some lingering showers out there this morning. We've got a few spot afternoon storms this afternoon, but not everybody will see the rain. It's not going to be widespread, and really we're going to be fighting drier conditions from here on out. More sunshine expected Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. High temps in the upper 80s to low 90s. And the overnights in the 60s. Of course, I will have that forecast online here shortly. And don't forget about your back-to-school photos. We want to see those too. Facebook and Twitter is where you can send those.
And tell us how you're getting back into the routine, because I know that's kind of difficult sometimes, you know, after a whole summer of sleeping in.
Sleeping in until 10, and all of a sudden your alarm's going off at 6. I remember those days.
Oh, I know. Probably some people still dragging their feet so far. All right.